edge. And then there's the anticipation surrounding the Fed announcing its December interest rate decision yet again at 2 p.m. today. Joining us now to discuss this and so much more is Mr. Alexander William Salter. He is a Young Voices contributor and senior fellow with the Independent Institute in Oakland, California. Sir, it's good to see you and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, sir. Well, it's no secret. While headlines are now focusing on Powell's likely exit, in the political drama, let's just keep it real, Alexander. I would argue that the danger, and so many other folks would argue this as well, but it really lies deeper. A monetary system masking structural fractures that no rate adjustment can fix. I would venture to say you probably agree.
You do have to worry that central bankers are putting too much stock in their ability to affect short-term interest rates. A tweak here, a nudge there. We're going to try and get the capital market to work the way that we want it to work. But as you noted, there are deep economic forces at work here. Most importantly, what's going on with the money supply, what's going on with broader measures of liquidity, and the fact that right now both inflation and unemployment are going up. That's going to be really tough for monetary policymakers to manage if all they think that they're doing is tweaking interest rates.
A number of folks have also stated you learn by your mistakes and or you learn by example. And in this case, what's your opinion on why does a December rate cut risk repeating the policy failures of not only 2008, but 2020?
I think more 2020 than 2008. Look, monetary policymakers are in a tough spot right now because, as I previously mentioned, both of the things that they have to care about, the unemployment rate and the inflation rate, are trending in not good directions. So it seems like they're going to get in trouble no matter what they do. If they try and stimulate the economy, that might help with unemployment, but then you have a problem with inflation. If you go the other way, you might be able to slow price growth, but you've got to worry that's going to also slow down the rate at which labor markets are able to put people to work. And I, for one, am worried that they're just overlooking the lessons that we've learned in the two previous crises and are putting too much stock in what the interest rate is. We need to be looking at broader structural economic forces to help us make this policy make sense.
Let's talk illusions, in this case, the illusion of control inside the Fed and why it leaves the economy, well, a lot of folks would say exposed.
At the end of the day, interest rates come down to the supply of and demand for capital. The Fed is a big player in that market, make no mistake, but they're still just one player. We're talking about globally linked markets. Trillions of dollars change hands in these markets every day. And the idea that the Fed can, quote unquote, set interest rates makes no more sense than a meteorologist saying that he or she can set the weather. I think a lot of times the central bank is a follower rather than a leader of these trends. And that illusion of control that you mentioned can be a very dangerous thing to have for policymakers. They think they're in the driver's seat, but in fact, they're riding passenger.
All right, we'll end with this, and that happens to surround all things with regard to the new Fed appointment. I'm really curious to get your take on what this could mean for inflation, lending, and overall growth.
Yeah, there's a big discussion right now about who exactly it's going to be. The smart money seems to think it's going to be Kevin Hassett. There's a lot to like there in terms of his previous policy views on the importance of private property rights and free enterprise, sound rule-based monetary policy. There's a lot there that I like. At the same time, you also have to worry that the president is trying very hard to put his stamp on the Federal Reserve and appoint decision makers who are going to give him the kind of monetary policy that he wants. And what's good for the president's political prospects may not be best for what's best for the nation in the long run. And so that divergence of incentives is something that we're going to have to watch pretty carefully.
Well said. Yet again, we are expecting the Fed to announce its December interest rate decision at 2 p.m. later today. We have been speaking with Alexander William Salter, a Young Voices contributor and senior fellow with the Independent Institute in Oakland, California. Truly appreciate your time, my friend.
Thank you.
So it's a lot to say that when the House Speaker speaks, all eyes happen to be on him. In this case, we know that Mike Johnson was flanked by several GOP leaders earlier today as he